I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. I am an unpleasant man. Fyodor Dostoevsky, the one who had wrote these compelling words, was about to die. He had contemplated his death before, but it felt like it had come far too swiftly. He was surprised by how much regret he was filled with. Yet he stood, blindfolded and defenseless, with a line of prisoners who were caught in an anti-government group, ready to be executed by the gunmen before them. However, just a second before the bullet was to leave the executioner's gun, a messenger came and declared that they were to be set free, that their sentence would be reduced to 4 years in a hard labor camp in Siberia instead. Dostoevsky, although he was saved, could not shake that feeling of loss, of regret, and could not forget how he had rethought his life, his choices, and his actions. Indeed, Dostoevsky was known for his disturbing writing, where he addressed the fallacies of human nature. Yet, upon reflecting on this near-death experience, he wrote something quite different. When I look back at the past and think of all the time I squandered in error and idleness, lacking the knowledge I needed to live, when I think of how I sinned against my heart and soul, then my heart bleeds. Life is a gift. Life is happiness. Every minute could have been an eternity of happiness. If youth only knew. Now, my life will change. Now, I will be reborn. Welcome to Life Fulfilled, the podcast aiming to inspire a future of purpose while also reflecting on the works of philosophers and psychologists of the current and past. In this episode, we will discuss death and its many powerful teachings. Let's get into it. It's not just Dostoevsky who has experienced a newfound appreciation for life only upon coming close to death. It's not just him who came to rethink life and try and make different choices. Let's talk about Anita Moorjani. In 2002, she was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma. And for 4 years, she stayed in turmoil, helplessly watching as her condition worsened and her tumors started to grow. In 2006, doctors told her that she had just hours left to live. She recalled losing consciousness and entering a state of love, peace, and clarity. It was overwhelming, but she realized that she had approached her disease in the wrong way, that fear and stress had played a significant role in the deterioration of her health. When Anita eventually came to, she had a newfound gratitude for life and conviction that she would get better. She changed her mindset and she made a full recovery. My own favorite author, Robert Greene, experienced this revelation upon nearly dying as well. He lay on the verge of death when he suffered a stroke shortly after finishing his book, The Laws of Human Nature. He wrote in The Daily Laws, "Now I look around me at all that I have, and the experience makes everything more intense. The colors are more intense. The sounds are more intense. The feeling of being connected to other people is more intense because now I'm aware not just of my own mortality, but of the people I'm with. It opens up the idea of how amazing the world is that we live in and how much we take for granted because we think we're going to live forever." These curious cases across time and background prompts the question, does it really take a near-death experience for us to appreciate life? for us to truly understand what blessing we are experiencing. These scenarios remind me of lessons from Robert Greene himself, who, in his book, The Laws of Human Nature, declared, "Life has no meaning without death." The potential to lose life and all that we have worked for is what compels us to appreciate it more. It is not death that we must fear, it's never beginning to live. And sometimes death and the acceptance of it is the key to seeing life anew and taking on new opportunities. However, I would go as far as to say that loss motivates us in various different ways to appreciate our life. Now, I have never almost died, but I did have an experience that relates to this entire concept of loss and appreciating what we have. In fact, I had a chronic illness as a child, and it caused immeasurable amounts of pain. I can recall stories like being at the beach and when jumping over a wave, bursting into tears because of how much it hurt. I can recall things like my mom touching my arm, urging me to move forward, and just that alone would set off a reaction within my body, and it would be ceaseless and relentless. However, this pain did not break me. In fact, it seemed to renew me. My experience with pain came in waves, where I would have months with flare ups and constant pain, and months without it. What I realized was that I appreciated the time when I didn't have pain, where I could walk and run without caring, much more deeply after experiencing the days where it hurt to simply get out of bed. It was this loss of health, loss of the feeling of not hurting, that motivated me to appreciate my life and simply existing without pain within my body. Before this lack of health, I was young and naive and never really appreciated something as simple as this. But it meant so much more after I had lost it. In a way that is not evident to everybody, I am immensely grateful for my illness and even for the pain I endured in my younger years. Why? Because I can sit here and feel content and satisfied with just the feeling of no pain. Something people who hadn't experienced the striking months of flare ups would not have been able to perceive in the same way. Likewise, we don't appreciate a lot of things until we lose them. We don't know we're in the good days until we leave them. We sit absent mindedly on a park bench without ever realizing that we'll come back years later just to drive by it slowly. We stress about the future just to wish again for the days where that was our only stress. So I ask, do we have to lose all of this to realize its beauty and simple perfection? The times of laughter with your friends. Why is it the moments when we're alone where we yearn for this? How much do we have to lose to realize that maybe we shouldn't have let life pass us by? That when we were sitting on that bench, we should have taken the time to appreciate our company, to look at the sunset a little longer, and to sit there and be present with the park and the swings and all of the things that we would come to never forget. Will we end up like Dostoevsky or Moorjani, where we come to this revelation on the brink of death without knowing if we'll make it back? When will we realize that it is life that is the blessing? I want to revisit Robert Greene's words on how his brush with death made him more connected to others. This prompted me to question how the loss of somebody else could affect you as well. This could mean a removal from your life or even somebody passing away. People tend to feel tremendous amounts of grief, oftentimes leading to depression, anger, numbness, or even guilt. They often have many wishes. They wish they said, "I love you" more. They wish they were honest more. Suppose the people that you care about are still here, still around you. If this is the case, do not hesitate to let them know that they are appreciated. It's what other people wish strongly for again and again that they could have done. Anything can happen, whether it's death or moving away or some other unforeseen circumstance. Do not take anybody for granted. It's true that we are all going to die. And in a sense, this can become a uniting factor, a way to make deeper emotional connections, a way to share an appreciation of life with the people around you. So, while you're here, it's important not just to let the people around you know that they are appreciated, but forge those connections and memories that can last you a lifetime, even if the relation itself does not. This particular concept relates deeply to a line from my favorite song, Silver Lining by Mountjoy. Mountjoy wrote, "Tell the ones you love them." But perhaps even more powerfully in the chorus, the band wrote, "Wear your silver lining, wear it close to your skin. But if it's the drugs, the woman, the wine, the weed, the love that took everything I own, just take it." In this way, the band describes silver linings, which are moments of profound joy that are deeply personal, as something to celebrate and wear close to your skin. Yet it also acknowledges different vices as things that can temporarily subside the pain, but things that are okay to surrender, that are not on par with those other deep and personal moments. And the concluding phrase, "just take it," reflects this surrender. It's as if the speaker is ready to let go of the dependencies and vices, understanding that clinging to them only leads to more suffering. One of my favorite things about these lines is that it speaks of a transformation, of giving up these things that bring short term gratification, of a wisdom beyond just chasing everything that elicits pleasure. It's the same concept that I find so compelling about the stories of people who have faced death. They ultimately choose to give some things up and hold some things closer to their hearts. This reminds me of a rather popular quote by Confucius that may take on an entirely new meaning given the background of these different experiences that people have had with death. We have two lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one. Yes, like Dostoevsky, who went from telling tales about cruelty and causing himself suffering to discussing how every single moment was an incredible blessing and opportunity for happiness. This light bulb moment doesn't have to come suddenly. In fact, you can simulate this experience for yourself gradually rather than trying to find a near death experience for yourself, which is something I personally would not recommend. One of the ways we can do this, again revisiting Robert Greene's advice, is meditating on your common mortality by envisioning different ways in which you can die. The consequences of this, your family and friends' reactions, it may feel more real. And in this way, you may gain a sense of knowing about the importance of your life and the connections around you that may have been forgotten. However, it's not just thinking about death that can bring you more appreciation of life. In fact, moments of what Robert Greene describes as the sublime, a realization of the vast and unexpected nature of the world, can bring you a similar sense of gratitude and awe. I want you to revisit the strangeness of this existence, the near impossibility of being on this planet in this moment with the perfect conditions to sustain life, to be part of this complex life that took billions of years of evolution. What are the chances this would be the world you were born in? What are the chances that you would be human, to be able to think and feel and act and worry and cry? What are the chances that you could read and also write, share your ideas and regret, and connect with others around you, and never forget the people who have become like patches in the quilt of your life? It's finding the infinite in life, this sublime, being overcome by awe and joy. Think about large structures like the Grand Canyon or the Appalachian Mountains. They can be more. As you look across the massive, seemingly endless expanse, you feel small, but also deeply connected to something much, much greater. These structures have existed for millions of years, shaped by forces far beyond human control. And in the moment where you come to realize this, instead of simply seeing, your everyday concerns seem insignificant. This is the sublime. An encounter with something so immense that it takes your breath away. It's a kind of rebirth in itself. It pulls us into a state of awe, reminding us that there will always be more to explore, more to understand, and more to become. How improbable is this life? So, I want you to stare at their stars, contemplate their distance and existence, be excited and fearful of the universe and all that it holds. Then I want you to think about the shortness of your own life and how it makes you seem so infinitesimal. In the history of the entire universe, I like to think that we are not even specks of dust. So live fully and completely. Bring meaning not just to your life, but of the lives of others around you. Forge connections that will never be forgotten. Lose everything and find everything again with a fresh set of eyes. Don't wait until death comes knocking to appreciate the life that you've been given. Thank you. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you found something insightful. If you did, please feel free to share below exactly what you found helpful. I would appreciate it beyond words. I would love it if you could share this to a couple of your friends who you think would appreciate it. It truly brings me so much joy to film these episodes, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. Until next time, keep living a life fulfilled. Thank you.